So I'm sure everybody already knows by now, unless you live under a rock or unless you're not a Pokemon fan. And if you're not a Pokemon fan, I don't know what you're doing here listening to this video, but whatever. Friday was supposed to be the distribution of the shiny Koraidon and the shiny Moraidon um, cards at GameStop, and it was a total disaster. I could speak to my own truth that I initially did not worry about getting the cards. Normally, in the past, they've never been an issue. I've never had problems getting the cards. I go out Friday with my wife. In the morning, I go walk, we go look at stores, stuff like that. Spend the day together, good quality time. And we're at the mall. And this is like at 9 a.m. And we go inside Target, we walk around for like an hour. And at 10, we're walking out and we notice, across the Target here in El Paso, Texas, at the Bassett Place Mall. If you're from El Paso, you know what I'm talking about. We noticed across the way, huge line from GameStop all the way wrapped into the outside of the mall entrance. And I was wondering, what the hell is going on? And my wife looks to me and she tells me, oh, it's for those Pokemon cards that you and our sons were talking about. And I was like, no, it never gets like this. I was like, this has to be something else. And I was like, well, maybe they're lining up for the spirit store. Maybe, because they were going to open a spirit store. But I had thought to myself, no way that there's going to be a line that big for the spirit store. So we walk up. I ask a gentleman in line. And sure enough, he tells me, oh, we're in line for the TCG cards that are being released today. And I was like, oh, okay. And there was like immediate fear that came over me because it's like, okay, there's this huge line. And I kid you not, there was like 100, maybe 200 people outside of this GameStop. And I was like, well, there's a lot of scalpers that are probably up in this line, along with a lot of people that are legitimate fans. What are the odds that a lot of these people also get the shiny cards? And then I just went, I'm like, no, they're just there to get their cards. And they're in and they're out, they'll be fine. So I didn't jump in line. I was like, I'm not going to wait in a line of 200 people for that. That's ridiculous. So I come home, and I jump on YouTube, and there's already video complaints, rants everywhere. Go on X, same thing, people complaining. So then I think to myself, oh no, oh crap. My 9-year-old son and my 12-year-old son really wanted these Pokemon. And, I wanted it myself, but like I could wait. I could find, my own ways to, get the shinies. So I called the GameStop at the mall and I asked them, hey, do you guys by any chance have any more of those download codes for the shiny Pokemon for the Nintendo Switch? No, we're sold out. I then was like, okay. So I called the one, over there on Trans Mountain on the other side of town, and sold out. So I end up, after those first two, thinking to myself, no way that they give away all those cards everywhere in this city. And sure enough, they were all gone. And it really angered me because, it's like one thing, for like those of us that are adults and we grew up with the series and we play the games. But what about the kids, man? Like the actual kids that are playing these games and the teenagers. They're at school. Like they didn't even get a chance to get one of these cards for their game. But instead, you have people who picked them up, a lot of scalpers that picked them up and threw them up on eBay and are selling them for ridiculous prices. Like, this is ridiculous, Nintendo, Game Freak, like, whoever's in charge of these decisions, GameStop, like, you guys failed. You guys failed bad. And I'm not a proponent for doing illegal stuff, but me and my sons, our solution ended up being going online and going to one of these promoted live streams that were giving away copies of these Pokemon, essentially cloned through PK hacks. And that's how we ended up getting these. But we shouldn't have ended up doing that. And you guys want to stop stuff like that. But when you guys screw up this bad, you are actually making us go through nefarious ways of getting these things illegally. Do better, Nintendo. I love you guys, but you guys need to do better. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to rant and tell my story.